Namaste and welcome. Tommy here, Private Yoga Maui, with a few gentle movements to help relieve stiffness and tightness in the low back. The health of our low back depends on the health of the muscles. We want those muscles to be strong, we want them to be flexible, and we want them to be balanced. And so we use gentle movements today and deep breathing, and the two of those will help us to accomplish that goal. All right, so let's get started. All right. I'd like for you to roll onto your back, first of all, and we're going to bring the knees into the chest, like so. And as we go through the movements today, keep in mind that there should be no discomfort in any of the movements. If you run into discomfort, then the thing to do would be to stop and wait for the next posture or the next movement. Okay, all right. So we bring the knees into the chest. We'd like to start this session off with a few deep breaths because it's going to be the deep breathing and the movements together that's going to help us to achieve that goal of relieving that tightness in the low back. So we hug the knees into the chest. Your posture doesn't have to, your knees don't have to come in as close as mine do, but what that does is it kind of opens up the low back here when we pull the knees in towards the chest. We're going to start with three nice, slow, deep breaths. We want to fully expand the lungs. So let's breathe deep for one. Hold it for a second, and then slowly let it out. Good. Again, deep breath for two. Hold it for a second, and then slowly let it out. And then one more deep breath. Hold it for a second, and then slowly let it out. Just kind of a way to turn the page on our busy day and move into this moment of self-care. So we're going to start by pointing the knees towards the ceiling. We're going to start with what I call knee circles. So the feet are off the floor. We're going to use the weight of the legs to press the low back into the floor, and you'll feel it right away. So you can pretend like your knees are a paintbrush and the ceiling is your easel, and we'll start to make circles about the size of maybe, a soccer ball. Okay, so we'll take about 5 rotations to the right, right? And so the weight of the legs press the low back into the floor. I'm sure you're feeling that already. And the small circles keeps that massage area right there in the low back. All right, so we take about 5 circles to the right, we pause, and then we take about 5 circles to the left, okay? Now keep your breath deep. And then we're going to reverse this, and we're going to go back to the right with bigger circles this time, okay? So as you increase the size of the circle, then the size of the massage area in the low back starts to expand, starts to get larger, okay? So as the legs move away, you'll feel the low back flex and you'll feel the lower abdomen flex. As you bring the knees up into the chest, you get a chance to stretch those low back muscles out, okay? So a couple more big rotations to the right. And some deep breaths. And then we'll reverse it. And we'll take it to the left, still big circles, okay? So increasing the area of the massage, okay? So flexing and releasing is kind of what we're doing here. One more big circle there. All right, we're gonna bring the knees towards the chest, and we're gonna do what I call hip rolls. So we're going to drop the knees all the way over to the right, and then we'll drop them all the way over to the left. And what happens now, we're rolling over the muscles of the low back, but also the muscles behind the hip, okay? So, and it gets tight behind the hip, as I'm sure most of us know. Very slowly, take your arms or elbows out to a T, help you with your balance. Very slowly, drop the knees over to the right. All right, let's take a big inhale and bring the knees back to center. And drop them over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Drop them over to the right. Inhale, back to center. Drop them over to the left. On this last one, we're going to inhale, come back to center. Drop the legs over to the right. All right. And we're going to stay right here. And we're going to do some breath work. Meaning we're going to breathe deep for about 5 nice, slow, deep breaths on each side. You're going to feel the stretch behind the hip. Some of us might feel it somewhat in the glute area right there. So breathe nice, slow, and deep. Encourage those muscles to relax. Breathe deep for 1. Another deep breath for 2. Fully expand your lungs. Breathe deep for 3. And know that you can release the pose at any time. We'll take 1 more deep breath on this side. Very good. All right, we're going to bring the knees back to center, and we're going to take the knees over to the left side, okay? And we'll stretch the left side, keeping the muscles balanced. So we drop the knees over to the left. You can look to the right if it's okay with you there. And we breathe. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And throughout our day, we breathe mostly shallow breaths, not using the full lung. And so in the practice, we want to breathe deep and hopefully increase the amount of oxygen in our bloodstream. So as we stretch these muscles and we get the muscle to relieve that tension, that the circulation will increase to whatever area that we're working. And then the uptake of the oxygen and the nourishment from our bloodstream will go into the muscle and it'll serve the muscle better. Kind of like when you're, I don't know if you lay on your arm a certain way at nighttime and you wake up and your hand doesn't quite work because the circulation is cut off. And as soon as you get the circulation back in the hand, it works perfectly. So kind of the same idea. All right. 1 more deep breath here. Good. Very slowly, let's come out of this. And we're going to place our feet on the floor now, about a little wider than hips width apart. Okay. And we're going to windshield wiper the legs back and forth. So in our first movement, the feet were off the floor. This movement will keep the feet on the floor, and so we'll change the stretch a little bit, okay? So let's windshield wiper the legs back and forth 2 or 3 times. So very slowly, drop the knees over to the right. And then inhale back to center. And drop the knees over to the left. Inhale back to center, over to the right. Inhale back to center, over to the left. Nice slow movements. Inhale back to center. And we'll drop the legs over to the right. And we'll do breath work here, meaning that we'll breathe deep for 5 or 6 breaths. Now in this position, we can lay here and let gravity do some of the work for us, all right? But if you want to increase the stretch to this area of the back, you can cross the right ankle over the left knee. And you're now using the weight of the right leg, understand, to help stretch the left rear part of the low back, okay? So let's breathe. Breathe deep for 1. Fully expand the lungs for 2. Deep breath for 3. Two more deep breaths on this side. Good, and the last one. So very slowly, we're going to unhook this, going to take the ankle off. I'm going to bring the knees back to center, and we'll take them over to the left side now. And again, we can stay here, let gravity do some of the work, or we can cross the left ankle over the right knee and increase that stretch. And you'll feel that one on the right rear part of the low back, okay? And then we get our breath work in, breathing nice, slow, and deep. One of the good things about this video is that as we move through 6 or 7 different movements, if you find something that feels good to you, you can pause the video, spend more time there. Out of the 6 or 7 postures that we'll do today, my hope is that you'll find 2 or 3 of them that work best for you, okay? All right, 1 more deep breath on this side. Good, we'll unhook it, and we'll take the knees back to center. Okay, I'm gonna show you a gentle stretch that feels pretty good. And with this one, we won't spend a lot of time here, but If it feels good to you, you have the opportunity to come back to it. So we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, all right? We're going to flex the foot back towards the shin. That give us a little bit of knee protection. We're going to reach through, and we're going to hug it all in. And you'll feel the deep stretch on the right side, okay? And you put in, half a dozen breaths here, okay? Rock a little side to side, hug it in nice and tight. And you feel the stretch more so in the hip, maybe in the glute area, but all of that is connected back there. So as we can relieve tension in one part of the back, it's going to help other parts of the back as well, okay? So we'll let this one go. We'll repeat it on the other side to keep the muscles balanced, crossing the left ankle over the right knee, flex the top foot back towards the shin. That gives a little bit of protection for the knee here. Now we'll hug this side in, and the same rules apply. Nice, slow, deep breaths. You're going to feel the stretch through here, right here in the low back, behind the hip, all right? And so you take equal amounts of breath on both sides to try to keep everything balanced, all right? Okay, so we'll let this go. And when you come back to it, if it feels good to you, you can spend as much time there as you like, all right? The next place that we'll go before we turn over onto a stomach, I'm going to take you to a single-legged spinal twist, okay? So we're going to extend the legs out flat on the mat, okay? We're going to bring the right knee into the chest. We're going to grab it with the left hand. Bottom leg is strong and straight, okay? And we're going to guide the right knee over to the left side as far as it's comfortable for you. Now, you might want to place your foot on top of the knee right there, and then just kind of guide it over. And if this is as far as you go, that's fine. If you've got a stretch and you've got deep breaths, okay, you're doing the work that we want to do today, all right? So just bring it on over. Keep that bottom leg strong and straight. I want you to think about this left shoulder blade kind of rolled over on a little bit. So we're going to bring the shoulder blade out away from the spine there. And we'll turn the neck over to the right side if it's okay with the neck. And we'll do deep breathing here. Once again, fully expanding the lungs. Breathing deep for 1. Another deep inhale for 2. Last deep inhale on this side. Good. Very slowly, we're going to come out. All right. Extend that leg on the floor. And we'll bring the left knee into the chest. Okay. We can we'll give it a hug it in nice and tight for a minute. And you can place the sole of the left foot on top of that right knee. Bottom leg is strong and straight. We're going to grab the left knee with the right hand, and we're going to guide it over to the right. And again, the knee doesn't have to go all the way over to the floor. The stretches don't have to be intense. Just feel the stretch. Start out slow. Be gentle with yourself. The saying is, listen to the body when it whispers, and you won't have to listen to it scream. Okay? So let's take a few breaths here. Again, the bottom leg is strong and straight. And if you feel like you've rolled over on your right shoulder blade, bring that shoulder blade out away from the spine a little bit. All right, and a couple more deep breaths here. Last one. Good. We'll very slowly come out. We'll extend the leg out flat on the floor. Now, keep in mind that I think the average number of breaths that we're taking is 3 or 4 breaths, because I'm trying to move through it so we can get through as many movements as we can in a short video. And so as you start to go back and to use the video, pick out the postures that work best for you, know that you can spend 10 breaths, 15 breaths if it feels good to you. So be gentle with yourself when you start out, okay? And breathe deep. That's a trick, okay? All right, we're going to roll over to our stomach and do something called cobra raises. And this is an opportunity for us to flex the muscles along the spine. So what I like to do is I use my legs kind of dead weight and pull myself forward to get my spine nice and long. Hands are right here. All right, put my chin on the floor because I want to show you a little something. So here we are. If you just lift the chin off the floor a couple of inches, you're going to feel the muscles along the spine fire up, all right? Those are the muscles that we want. I don't want you to push so much with your arms as I want you to use the back muscles, okay? So a little flex and release there. Inhale, raise the chest forward and up. And then we lower back down. Inhale, raise the chest forward and up. And we lower back down. Inhale, raise the chest forward and up. And we lower back down. Just two more. Inhale, raise the chest forward and up. And we lower back down. And this will be the last one. Inhale, raise the chest forward and up. And we lower back down. Stack your hands. Make a place for your chin or the side of the face. Rock the hips a little side to side. We're encouraging those muscles to release now after we flex them. And then we're going to come up to all fours. And we're going to do something called cat-cows, which is a great way to keep the spine feeling lubricated and young. All right. So we come to all fours. Your knees are hips width apart. Your hands are shoulder width apart. Knees under the hips and hands under the shoulders. So it works this way. On the inhale, we drop the belly and we lift the chin. And on the exhale, we lift the ribs and tuck the chin. Getting a really good stretch, bring the shoulder blades out to the side. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Inhale to arch. And exhale to round. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. You can do as many cat-cows as you like. I like to keep it around maybe between 6 and 10, but you'll know what works best for you. And after you're done with the cat-cows, sit back for a nice, sweet child's pose. Take a little bit of rest. Reach the arms out in front. Take the hips back towards the heels. Rest here for a few breaths. Or of course, you can lay on your back with the legs up the wall. That can feel pretty good too. So those are the movements that I have for you today. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope this information has been useful for you. Until next time, aloha and namaste.